Watch how Cat Williams silenced CNN reporter for trying to make him apologize for defending America at his stand-up show.
Because it's clear that you were visibly upset defending this country.
This ain't Mexico. It used to be Mexico, mother. And now it's Phoenix, goddammit.
If a person starts their heckling with F America, all of this is still Mexico. That gives me the right to defend my country.
Do you not apologize for anything?
I don't think I need to apologize for being pro-American. When I was just giving him geography, this is America.
Do you understand why people who do hear it maybe do get offended?
If you don't like me, don't come see me. If you do like me, I'm here for you.
Any concern about how this could impact your... People might not want to book you, Arizona or California.
Sir. Let's let that happen.
I was rejected from jury duty. There was a woman who was robbed on the street. She said he robbed her, the groceries took it, and then ran off. The cops found the guy. He was not in possession of anything she said he took. They looked in the area if anything stashed in dumpsters or anything. They didn't find anything. The judge reads the particulars and goes, does anyone think they would not be able to convict based on the kind of information and evidence that's been presented? I said, yes, I'd have a problem if the only evidence available is eyewitness testimony. Then everything I know tells me I should not trust it on the level where you end up putting someone in jail, if that's the only evidence you have. What the judge said next was, are there any other jurors who need more than one witness before they would be able to convict? And I said, should I jump in now and say, that's not what I said? What should I do? The person in front of me said, Your Honor, that's not what he said. And I resisted with all my might to say, Your Honor, you were eyewitness to what I said 20 seconds ago and got it wrong.
Yes! Cola was invented by a Confederate colonel that got a saber wound in the Civil War, got addicted to morphine, and he's like, I gotta cure my morphine addiction. So he just mixed together caffeine, wine, and cocaine. He's like, I don't feel like doing morphine anymore because I can't feel my face. Starts producing it. 6 months later, Fulton County in Atlanta is like, we're banning alcohol, so he has to switch over to carbonated water, but it tastes like shit, so he just adds a bunch of sugar instead. Sells it to a pharmacist, and the pharmacist is like, we're gonna market this as soda. And in 1904, the US government cracks down on cocaine. And the reason is mostly racism. They take the cocaine out and just add more sugar. And then World War II rolls around. Coca-Cola then comes around and is like, we're gonna guarantee that any troop, no matter where he's at, can buy a cold Coca-Cola for 5 cents. They were losing money for every soda sold. In exchange, they turned around to the government and was like, what if we used government tax dollars to create 65 bottling plants all over the globe? And they did it. Hitler's favorite drink was Coca-Cola. So the German Coca-Cola guys were like, we're gonna make our own soda. That's where Fanta comes from.
This looks like something I would use to charge my phone.
So actually what this is, the reason why I have this little orange thing here is because there is no way I'd ever know that this was not a charger without this orange tag, because it is that perfect. So the NSA is selling these for $20,000. And I have a friend, MG, he goes by, who is selling them for, a couple $100s a piece. And I have a bunch of them I can show you. So this is a charger that will work. I could hand this to you and say, hey, here's my charger, man, or replace yours, right? As soon as this plugs in, inside of this tiny little plastic right here, inside of this is a Wi-Fi chip, a mini computer, and this thing emulates a keyboard and can type at 860 characters per second. It can monitor your keystrokes, so you can put this in line in between your
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, you can put this in line in between your keyboard and your computer.
Who uses them?
They're intended for penetration testers like myself to do the right thing.
I tell you the zebra story. This tells you everything you need to know about human beings. Zebras have stripes, and people say, well, that's for camouflage. Then you think about that for 2 seconds, and you think, that's a really stupid theory, because zebras are black and white, so you can see a zebra 5 miles away. Okay, so biologists go and they decide to take a look at some zebras. You're looking at the zebras, trying to study a zebra, and you look at the zebra and you make some notes, and you look up and you think, oh Christ, which zebra was I looking at? And the answer to that is you don't know. So then you think, well, we better identify a zebra so we can see what he's up to. You take your Jeep and a can of red paint and a stick with a rag on the end of it, and you drive up to the zebras and you paint their haunch red a little bit. And then you stand back and you think, hey, I'm pretty smart. Now I'm going to watch that zebra. So what do you think happens to the zebra? The lions kill it. They have to identify a zebra before they can organize their hunt. And then they do pick them out. And so the rule for human beings is people camouflage themselves against the herd. They want to be invisible and they want to be left alone.
50 Cent gives the perfect answer about why everyone loves Ali but hates Floyd Mayweather.
For Floyd, they don't like him. He knows you don't like him. We've been friends since 2002. There was a point where I'm looking at things and I'm going, yo, kind of got the wrong message you point. Because We saying we got all the money in the world, we're gonna burn it, we're gonna get it again. So what? He goes, nah, you do that, Fa. What a prize fighter fight for? And he said, the prize. Don't nobody watch Floyd fight to see how amazing he is. They watch it for the opportunity to see him lose. Right. Because they don't like him. Everything that he says is about money. It's nothing else. There's no values. The people's champ, like Ali, was standing for the same things the audience was standing for. He doesn't have any of that. It's just money.
My lawyer said if you call the utility company and tell them you're sending a check, they legally cannot shut off your power. So for 10 years at 8:01, I would call the public utility district to say I'm sending in a check. And after a while, I heard this noise. And then many years later, I met some of the people who goes, you know, you're a legend. I go, what do you mean? He says, we all gathered around the phone, 8:01, betting that Stamets would call.
7 things people learn too late in life. 1, the less you say, the more your words will matter. 2, don't take everything personally. Not everyone thinks about you as much as you do. 3, when you focus on problems, you'll have more problems. When you focus on possibilities, you'll have more opportunities. 4, no matter how much it hurts now, someday you will look back and realize your struggle changed your life for the better. 5, you meet people for a reason. Either you need them to change your life, or you're the one that will change theirs. 6, never be afraid to try something new. Life gets boring when you stay within the limits of what you already know. 7, you will never truly know the value of a moment until it becomes a memory. 8, once you begin to take note of the things you are grateful for, you begin to lose sight of the things that you lack. 9, if you do not have control over your mouth, you do not have control over your future. 10, life is a mirror and will reflect back to the thinker what he thinks in.
More reasons to think that Columbus was a dick. Let me add one to it. On his 3rd voyage, he's got to get back to Spain. He doesn't have enough food for his crew. So he asks the natives, would you please give us some of your stock? Now, this particular group of natives only makes exactly the amount of food they need to tie to the next crop. So they said no. Columbus knew that 1 week hence, there was going to be a total lunar eclipse where the moon in its orbit around Earth enters Earth's shadow and disappears. But the geometry is such that sunlight passes around Earth through Earth's atmosphere and takes on sunset colors that leach into Earth's shadow, giving the moon a deep red amber hue. He says to the natives, if you do not give us food, my God will make the moon disappear and it will turn blood red. You have 1 week to comply. Sure enough, right on cue, the moon begins to disappear. And within seconds of this beginning, they bring him all the resources he wants. We don't know what happened back at the island, whether the people survived the winter.
Quiet men aren't weak. They're dangerous. These are 10 stoic traits of those who talk less but hold more power. 1, they react less and observe more. Perception holds power. 2, they speak with clarity. No wandering, just impact. 3, they dislike small talk. Shallow conversations tire deep minds. 4th, they don't crave validation. Their silence speaks confidence. 5, they turn pauses into weapons. It draws people in to truly listen. 6, they read people quickly. While others speak, they observe. 7, they protect their energy. Every word costs. They spend it wisely. 8, they're tough to manipulate because they don't give anything away. 9, they don't say things twice. Once is more than enough. 10, they choose being overperforming. No need to prove, just embody it.
Mike Tyson's coach shut down Muhammad Ali's best technique in 20 seconds because Ali started telling Cus D'Amato how his shuffle technique always confuses his opponents and ends up knocking them out with one punch. But Cus was ready, so he set up his feet, put his guard up, and got ready to teach him a valuable lesson on why timing is more important than speed. So he told Ali to get going and show the shuffle, and as soon as he started bouncing, he took the correct measures and did this.
Oh! And so is it generally agreed that the reason why these things are constructed in a very specific direction and in a very specific design, that it is mirroring the cosmos?
That's an idea that archaeology completely rejects. Robert Brevard brought us the Orion correlation, and my God, did archaeology descend upon him like a ton of bricks for just noticing that the 3 great pyramids of Giza are laid out on the ground in the pattern of the 3 stars of Orion's belt. And then when we work precession into the equation, we find that they're not laid out in the pattern of Orion's belt as it looked in 2500 BC when the pyramids are supposed to have been built. They're laid out in the pattern of Orion's belt in 10,500 BC, 12,500 years ago. So it's like a marker on the Giza Plateau speaking to that age, just as Pillar 43 at Göbekli Tepe speaks to that age when in the astronomical diagram on that pillar.
Which also means that there would have been a line 35,000 years ago as well.
Yeah, that's right, because it's a cycle.
Yeah.
We all have the illusion that in a car accident, time slows down. So we did an experiment. We got this guy and we pushed him backwards. Pushed him backwards off a tower. Now, if you're pushed backwards off a tower, you go screaming because you think you're going to die. Well, we had him look at images flashed at him. These images flashed so fast that the ordinary eye can't see it, like a number flashed at him. When we pushed him backwards, he saw the number. So you can actually measure this effect, that the progression of time slows down when you are frightened, when you're in a panic mode.
What if I told you the only undefeated heavyweight champ in history died under mysterious circumstances? Rocky Marciano, 49 fights, 49 wins, 43 knockouts, no losses, ever. But on the eve of his 46th birthday, his private plane went down, just miles from his destination. No black box, no survivors. Some say it was bad weather, others, they whisper about death threats and people who didn't want him talking. Was it just a tragic accident or something more? One thing's for sure, nobody ever beat Rocky Marciano.
So you go like this, blow as hard as you can. Try it, don't be nervous. Straight up. Why doesn't it work? Air is flowing here. And right here, where there's very little room, the air will have very high speed, way higher than it has where it has lots of room. And so at the highest speed, you get the lowest pressure. And so the ping pong ball is sucked in while you're blowing it. And I'm going to blow like this. And if I blow hard enough, ping pong ball will stay in there. Because I generate a lower pressure right here where the passage is the smallest. But I have to blow quite hard. See that? Isn't that amazing?
Here's how Mike Tyson avenged the beating of Muhammad Ali. This dramatic story is considered the greatest revenge in boxing history. After a 2-year hiatus, Muhammad Ali returned to the ring to face his former sparring partner, Larry Holmes. By then, Ali was already suffering from Parkinson's disease, and that night, he was a shadow of his former self. Holmes was unexpectedly cocky before the fight, vowing to be the first to knock out Muhammad, and yet, it was Ali who had taught Larry everything he knew. The undefeated Holmes dominated every minute of the fight. Ali stepped into the ring overweight, but financial struggles forced him to accept a bout against the reigning world champion. The young fighter didn't give the legend a single chance, landing over 300 punches. After the 10th round, unable to watch his fighter take any more punishment, Angelo Dundee insisted on stopping the fight. A year later, Muhammad retired. Watching this brutal beating from his TV was a 14-year-old Mike Tyson. The next day, thanks to his trainer, he got the chance to speak to his idol on the phone. "When I grow up, I will avenge you against Holmes," he said. For 7 years, Mike trained relentlessly, rising through the ranks to become the champion of 3 organizations. And when he finally got the fight with Holmes, Ali reminded him of his promise. "Get him for me, Mike," the greatest whispered. Holmes, who had only ever lost to Spinks and had 48 wins to his name, was a dangerous opponent. But despite his iron chin, the former champion knew that Tyson's punch could shatter it in an instant. Running around the ring, Larry tried to bait Mike into making a mistake, refusing to engage in an open exchange. It seemed like his plan was to drag Iron Mike into the later rounds. Through constant clinching, Holmes survived until the 4th round. But that's when his nightmare began. A straight right from Tyson broke through his guard, sending Holmes to the canvas for the first knockdown of his career. Smelling blood, Mike pounced on him. And now, Holmes found himself in the same position as Muhammad Ali, helpless against a relentless beating, just as he had delivered 7 years earlier. With a devastating right hand, Mike fulfilled his promise, completing the greatest revenge in boxing history.
Sharks, this is how 1.9 million Americans every year receive the remains of their loved ones following cremation. This zip-tied plastic bag is how I received Gramps, and that experience was awkward and uncomfortable. And every year, millions of Americans have poor experiences experiences with ashes and urns just like I did. And so my company, Parting Stone, invented a new form of human and animal remains. Parting Stone Service returns the remains in a form that resembles a collection of smooth stones. The appearance of each collection of stones varies naturally from person to person, returning different hues and textures and colors for each individual. Now families tell us about how they were able to hold their loved ones again and spread the stones in meaningful places. Wow. Sharks, in front of you, there's a box containing one stone. What's in the box? These are the remains of my grandfather.
If I go over here and take this young lady by the throat and choke off her air, within seconds she's aware that oxygen is a requirement for life. If I lock her in a room with no water, within a few hours she will begin to suspect that water is a requirement for life. If I lock her in there long enough that she gets ravenously hungry, she will begin to suspect that food is a requirement for life. The oxygen time effect, or cause-effect time relationship is very close, a matter of seconds. Water, a matter of hours. Food, a matter of days. Exercise is just as important as any of those things, but the time factor is much greater, spread out in time. So that if you don't exercise, you don't immediately become aware of it. Might take you months or years, by which time you will have done irreversible damage to yourself, and some that perhaps isn't irreversible.
This millionaire reveals how to get $60,000.
Let's say I had to have $60,000. You go to a bank, you say I need $61,000. They then say, okay, here's your credit. This is what we'll give you or won't give you. Or do you have an asset that we could leverage against? Well, what do you think that I used as my asset? I used my paintings. I said, well, I have these paintings. What people don't know is anytime I did a painting, I would have it appraised. And once it was appraised, I could then get insurance on it. So when the bank seen it, they were like, okay, we'll give you $60,000.
Oh,
so
because you had all these paintings.
That's
like
right.
5,000, 5,000, 5,000, 10,000, 5,000, just ones that didn't sell.
So here's my collection of paintings. Here's my asset. I can borrow against them. I now get the $60,000. I buy the tattoo
That's
studio.
crazy. You didn't purchase them. You painted them.
That's right.
Yeah,
and here's the
that's funny.
thing. Oh, no, please don't take my paintings because I couldn't do it again.
Yeah, you could just paint more.
I could repaint them again. If you think about it, it's kind of a hack way.
Infinite money glitch.
Is it legit?
The most powerful wizard from the third Harry Potter movie isn't Lupin, Sirius Black, or even Dumbledore. It's this guy. This character has been an iconic meme of the third movie as an Easter egg that fans have never been able to identify. So what's so strange about this singular wizard? Well, besides the fact that he is reading A Brief History of Time by Stephen Hawking, which is a Muggle book, he is also doing wandless magic. Wandless magic is something that even the most accomplished wizards in Harry Potter couldn't perform. And so it made fans wonder who this guy could be. Well, the main theory is that this wizard worked as an unspeakable in the Department of Mysteries, with some fans suggesting that he worked with time turners in that department, hence why he is studying up on Stephen Hawking. In reality, though, this actor is Ian Brown, the frontman for the band Stone Roses, who happened to make a fun cameo in the movie.
I remember one day my dad was playing poker. I was like, Dad, I need a new pair of Converse, right? And he's like, I see those shoes on your feet. They still work, right? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, well, when you have a job, you can buy whatever you want. But until then, those shoes still work. I'm like, Dad, I can't get a job. I'm 12 years old. And one of his poker buddies speaks up and goes, I got a job for you. I've got these boxes of garbage bags, and you can go sell them around the neighborhood. I'm like, cool. I would go to our neighbors, and I go, hi. I'm your neighbor, Mark. Do you use garbage bags? And of course, everybody uses garbage bags. So I'll never forget, they cost me $3 for a box of 100. I would sell them for $6, and I would just take them to them every couple of weeks, right? Whenever they needed more garbage bags. And I'm making $20 a week, which was like big time. Right. I got my shoes, but that taught me to be confident. And that taught me that selling was helping, not convincing.